So here we have a first look at the mine we're going to be working. Into the mine we go. So that way has a big huge pack rat nest. It's massive. And it eventually connects back to this left side anyhow. So we're going over here. So the first place we're going to stop is right here. You can see the edge of the vein right there. And then over here, it's not quite as distinct. A little easier on the ceiling to see right there. I don't think this was the vein they were following. The vein they were following goes this way. But we'll get to that later. I took some of this before. Not very much. But we did actually find gold in it. That stuff looks really mineralized. So we're going to try and take a whole bunch more. And the other reason I think this is a good vein to follow is a lot of the other mines in the area are also going this way. This is one of the few mines that go that way. Doesn't mean the vein back there is worthless, and we'll go check it out. But first, we're going to stop here. Make sure you guys are wearing a respirator, so you're not breathing in all that silica dust if you ever do this yourself.
These cordless SDS hammer drills work really good to break the rock up. While they don't have quite as much power as a corded one, you can take them a lot more places.
Alright guys, before we start mucking all this muck out of here, I kind of wanted to show you what's going on. So the entrance is there, as you can see, and then the tunnel, or the adit is the correct name, but this little tunnel we're in continues on that way. But this vein that we were digging out is going off at not quite a 90, but pretty close. This right here is what they call a hanging wall, and you can see it kind of hanging that way, leaning that way. And then we were after this section here. Here's my hand for reference of how wide it is. It's a little over 2 hands wide. Some of this, I think right here where my hand is also part of that vein. It's just a little harder. So I'm guessing it formed at a different time in history. Then right here, we're back to normal rock. So we're kind of starting to drift off that way. And if we find a lot of gold in here, we'll continue on that way. Otherwise, we'll head farther back into the mine. Kind of see back there from here. Where that big crossbeam is, it actually goes out to the surface. There's a shaft that they sunk coming down, and then they drove in this adit to meet it and intersect it. So let's get to work.
Now that we've mined enough ore for our test, we're going to run it through the Keen RC46 rock crusher. The top part of the crusher is what's known as a jaw crusher, and directly below that is a roller mill that turns the rock into a very fine powder. After I crush all the rock, I classify it using a 30 mesh screen. This gets out the bigger chunks of rock that are too big to go through the centrifuge bowl. With the rock that I'm currently running, about 95% will pass through the 30 mesh screen on the first pass through the crusher.
Well guys, it's the moment of truth. I've been waiting all winter to run this material. I mined it last fall and I haven't been able to run it. It's been too snowy. And so I'm super excited. It's been driving me nuts waiting all year to be able to run this. So let's see what's in there. A lot of red in here from, I think it's mostly from the red clay that was in that rock we were working with. So it's hard to see anything at all. Swapped out that little metal one I was using for 5 gallon. Just because it's taking more work than I'm used to cleaning these out. I'm going to show you guys some. Hopefully you can at least see some of it. So down here on the very bottom is just littered with specks of gold. First thing I'm going to start with is this little snuffer bottle that we had. Just because I want to see what was in it. Nice little golden smile right up here. I don't know how well you can see it. Hopefully that comes through a little bit. So I'm going to take the 100 mesh screen and the 60 mesh. And everything in here has already been screened down to 30 mesh. I really want to see some big gold, so we're going to start with the 60 plus concentrates first. Yeah, it's not very big gold, I know, but bigger than what's in those two. That's for dang sure. That looks pretty clean. And there's really not that much in there, as you can probably see. Get rid of a little bit of dirt before we look for the gold. Make it a little easier. The wind's kicking up, got a storm moving in. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the audio for the video. So there's a lot of tramp iron in here. And I'll look over all this magnetic stuff that I'm pulling out later, because occasionally you'll get a piece of gold that kind of gets sucked up with all this magnetic stuff. Even the gold itself is not magnetic. Now there's even less. Not hardly anything in here now. Oh yeah. Got all kinds of gold up in here. Oh, that looks pretty. 60 minus, 100 plus. There's freaking gold everywhere in this. Ooh, super excited. But I'm gonna try and get this scrap metal out of here first. With how much metal there is, or magnetic metal, and gold there is, I have a feeling quite a bit of gold's gonna get stuck with all that scrap iron. Alright, let's see what we got today. Get this sucked up. Alright, now we're down to the final pan. This is minus 100 mesh. Holy cow, that is so cool looking. Somewhere I have a magnet here. There's just so much gold. It is unreal. I'm gonna try and take a picture of this before it was even been panned. This is just getting out the scrap.
There's enough gold that I'm definitely going back to get more ore. I'll also be getting the portal cleared out so that we have unrestricted access into the mine.